very good evening to you all, and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to News Tonight here on UBC TV this Thursday, the second day of April 2026. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. Now, the government of Uganda has launched the first ever locally manufactured diagnostic test kits for HIV/AIDS, malaria and sickle cell. The Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, officiated at the inaugural launch and reiterated that this marks a major step towards achieving the country's health sovereignty and reducing the importation of medical supplies.
The three unveiled locally manufactured diagnostic kits include those for HIV/AIDS, malaria and sickle cell. This initiative falls under the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda program, with government support extended to the proprietors of Microhem Scientifics.
Producing locally, I want to emphasize this. We sell foreign exchange. We create jobs. He already talked about this. We promote innovation and strengthen our industries in line with our policies. The Bubu Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policies.
While launching these innovations, the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, assured the country that this trend will enhance import substitution within the health sector.
Local manufacturing, we are taking control of our future and ensuring our health system remains functional even amidst global uncertainty. And so external funding is no longer guaranteed. Countries that depend heavily on foreign aid risk disruptions in essential services. This is what true resilience looks like.
Currently, Uganda imports up to 99% of its health supplies, which undermines its financial sovereignty and exposes it to external price fluctuations.
Using and integrating these high-quality diagnostic kits into our national health system, we are taking a bold step towards health sovereignty. Because currently Uganda imports, like other speakers have said, nearly 99% of the health products, exposing us to global price fluctuations and the supply chain disruptions.
Statistics show that Uganda uses approximately 30 million malaria kits and 15 million HIV test kits annually, all of which were being imported.
The Minister of Health has commended this development and confirmed that the newly launched products will be deployed in all government hospitals.
Kits are already being procured and distributed through the national medical stores, Right Honourable Prime Minister, to our facilities across the country. This marks a significant and historic step forward.
Government has committed to supporting the consumption of locally made products under the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda initiative, provided the producers maintain the required standard.
Our policies, procurement and regulatory systems favor them while maintaining the highest quality standards. Made in Uganda must always mean quality, reliability and trust.
We will integrate these diagnostic kits into our national procurement system based on their proven effectiveness and reliability.
The proprietor of Microhem Scientifics, Cedric Akwesije, applauds the government for its support in achieving this milestone in local production.
The entire budget that of Ugandan money has been allocated to us. We have manufactured, we have delivered, we have all these people you see here. 90% of them are from hospitals, from laboratories. We have trained them, we have shown them how to do this, and they are using products made here. From each hospital is using.
Government is cognizant of the changing global health financing landscape, which is becoming increasingly unreliable, and he plans to continue supporting local innovations aimed at solving national health challenges. Abdunaseli Lubwama for UBC.
Now some rather sad news, and police have arrested a 39-year-old suspect who allegedly gained access to an early childhood development center in Gaba and brutally murdered 4 toddlers. The incident has left parents devastated and raised urgent questions about the safety of children in care centers. Authorities say investigations into the motive are ongoing. Ivan Kahwa reports.
4 toddlers have been killed by stabbing at Gaba Early Childhood Development Center. It is alleged that the prime suspect, Christopher Okelo Onyum, aged 39, a resident of Noya district, allegedly gained access to the premises and attacked the children, killing 4 of them. Preliminary information suggests that the suspect had visited the center 2 days prior to the incident.
Seeking for admission, and he was told to go back to the school today, where what he did, he actually also paid for the admission, and after that proceeded and attacked these children.
At the time of the attack, 14 toddlers were present at the facility. 10 survived and were safely evacuated and handed over to their parents.
We deeply condole and sympathize with the families that have lost these very young children whose future has been cut short by an unknown person whose motive is still unknown.
Now a team of scene of crime officers is already on ground to obtain any form of other piece of evidence that could be very important in solving the equation of this incident. Now 3 children were pronounced dead upon arrival in the hospital, while 1 body was retrieved from the school where the incident occurred.
They have been identified as Odeke Ryan, a 1-year and a 1.5-year-old male. There is Eteko Gideon, 2.5-year-old. There is Keisha Alungat, 2 years. There is Ignatia Seruyange, also 2.5 years.
Nzembera munyonyo nezuruka imsino ku boda boda nzigenda bekibaddewo nekyensanze nga bangamba abange bali safe gye bali eri ya nenga ku lwange kwogera ku bya security kyenyiza okulowooza nti muweereza wa Mukama Pastor Kasirivu kwongeramu security wano.
Police apprehended the suspect as angry residents attempted to attack him. Security agencies fired bullets in the air to disperse the crowd.
Tukyotuuseeko kyolabirako ddala osobola okugamba nange bamumpe muli obunyama kuba ekikola kyakoze kibi nnyo kyantiisa kuba tusanze emirambo wali eri emisaayi gijjudde abaana bafiiridde mu bulumi bw'amaanyi kati naawe n'obwobeera ggwe osobola onyiigamuko n'ogamba bamumpe muyuzeyuze era senga kubaddeko mutabani wange ndowooza nange leero we nandifudde.
Mutemu ayingidde asaza abaana ensingo bubi nnyo baana mwaka gumu ku 2 ziddole zibadde ziguddere ebyokuzanyisa byabwe omusaayi guli mu lujja wonna ne poliisi yandituuse n'esooka n'enoonyereza kizze kitya kituuseewo kiteetuse mu kuba abantu basatu.
Residents and parents rushed to the scene upon receiving the devastating news. Many expressed shock, stating that they had left their children at the center earlier in the day as part of their normal daily routines.
Tuyambako nnyo okulekawo kuba oba tolina woleka mwana dhano singa omuleka ewaka n'oddanga alina byakoze ewaka obadde omuleeta n'abeera wano eno n'asiibawo bulungi n'omusanga ng'ali seefu n'omukwata n'omuzza ewaka nga just obadde oleeta ngoye ne bagamba leeta omwana n'oleeta engoye nga otandikira ku mwaka gumu bana bibadde bakuuma bamukuleke n'obalekera n'ogenda n'okula n'okoma naye at the end of the month n'obawaayo 10 meka 13. kyekirungi ky'essomero eryo libadde lituyamba mu kitundu kyaffe ekye
One of the parent, Mama Daniela, crying, they took her. That's one of the person who lost the kid.
So you said you are teaching, your school is neighboring this school where the incident occurred. So how is your security in your school, which is a neighbor to this one here?
For me, they are day scholars who don't have boarding, and people stop at 2, then they go back home.
Police say investigations are ongoing to establish the motive behind the attack. In a related development, authorities are also pursuing suspects involved in a robbery at the Centenary Bank on Nkuruma Road.
We registered a robbery along that road, Nkuruma. Yes, and our teams are still investigating, and efforts are still ongoing to have the suspects arrested.
Very, very sad news coming from Gaba. Now, the Rwanda High Commission in Uganda has lined up a series of events to commemorate the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, as the country marks 32 years since the tragedy. Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda, Joseph Rutabana, says the activities will focus on remembrance, reflection, and reinforcing the message of never again. He revealed this during a briefing at the Rwandan High Commission offices in Chitante, noting that the events will bring together government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, survivors, and the Rwandan community in Uganda.
This year marks the 32nd commemoration of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. We refer to it as Kwibuka 32. Kwibuka is a Kinyarwanda word meaning remembering. Events related to Kwibuka 32 will start on the 7th of April 2026. That is next Monday. There will be a national commemoration in Rwanda, countrywide. As in previous years, Kwibuka 32 will spread to 100 days, a period of time for remembrance, reflection, and unity. This is the time to honor the lives lost, continue to support survivors of the genocide, and reinforce the commitment to never again. The High Commission's main commemoration event will take place on the 10th of April 2026. It will be a Friday, and it will take place at the Golo Memorial Site in the Mpigi district.
Rwanda's High Commissioner to Uganda, Joseph Rutabana, ending that report there. The government of Uganda has drafted a waste management policy that will guide the country into transforming garbage from being a burden into a resource and an opportunity. The draft policy, ready for presentation to Cabinet and Parliament, was prepared by the National Multi-Sectoral Stakeholder Platform, which was set up by the Cabinet under the chairmanship of Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabanja. Now, this morning, the Prime Minister held an engagement with the platform to discuss how waste of various forms will be utilized in a sustainable manner.
In 2024, Cabinet directed the Ministry of Local Government to develop a national waste management policy to guide the transformation of waste into a resource and support Uganda's transition towards a circular economy. And this reflects a fundamental shift in how we view waste, not as a burden, but as an opportunity. Waste, if poorly managed, constrains our cities. It also threatens public health and undermines economic productivity. The other day, you remember, we even lost life. So you can lose life when you don't manage waste properly. However, when properly harnessed, it becomes a driver of value, supporting industry. You can generate electricity. You can also get employment for our people, and of course, promoting environmental sustainability. I wish to also emphasize that effective waste management is not the responsibility of one institution. It requires collective action.
If we get our act together, we can now move from a waste that causes loss of life to waste that becomes a source of value. If we do not come out with financing mechanism, then we shall not implement the policy. So from the household, the generators of waste, to the local governments and KCCA, the central government, our development partners, and eventually the business community, the off-takers, we think that the financing is possible. We have the resources internally, but also the external partners are here to support us.
To Busoga now, where the Ghetto youth in Busoga sub-region have hailed President Yoweri Museveni for supporting them through his initiative on empowering the Ghetto youth. The initiative focuses on transforming lives of the Ghetto youth through financial inclusion via circles and job creation. It aims to reduce crime and poverty.
In September 2025, President Museveni gave a total of 1.2 billion shillings to ghetto circles in the 12 districts and cities within the Busoga sub-region, with each circle receiving 100 million. This revolving fund has an annual interest of 6% and should be paid back after 1 year. The Busoga Ghetto Circle project was coordinated by the Special Presidential Assistant Press and Mobilization and also Deputy Press Secretary Haj Farouk Kirunda, with the support of the Director Crime Intelligence Uganda Police, General Christopher Damulira.
Now, when the president got a report that this thing was working well, actually, when he did the PDM tour in July of 2025, he went to the ghettos. He went to Kasokoso. You saw him. He went to Kasokoso. He went to Kawempe, to the ghetto offices, operational ghetto offices, and got information firsthand from the ghetto members themselves on how they were going about their lives. And he was so impressed. We went to Jinja City and all the districts of Busoga, and we launched Ghetto Youth Circles. I worked with Mr. Farouk Kirunda, the Deputy Press Secretary, who knows the area very well, so we made good contacts, we did good launches, the money was provided. In Busoga, we created 12 circles.
Now, meet Mutesi Rachel, a resident of Danida, Kirembe Ghetto, Walukuba, Jinja City. She is a qualified nurse, but she was stuck after graduating from a nursing school due to unemployment. However, when President Museveni extended the shillings 100 million empowerment funds to the Jinja City Ghetto youth, Mutesi was among the youth who benefited from the first phase of the project.
Abobuwala baweebwa omukisa abaafuna omukisa okufuna ku ssente da ghetto structure. Era nga twebaza muzeeyo olw'okuyidukira niife aba ghetto kubanga twalinga y'abandi nga twasoma aye ng'emirimu tuzira kati nga tubaawo tuzira kyakola nga tuba mu kutyama kulera mikono. Era nga mu ssente de bampa obukeera obusatu ekitundu nasobola okutawa drug shop aye nga drug shop eno erina ebintu byensobola ogifunamu.
Another beneficiary, Mugoya Shafik alias Little Angel of Cobra of Iceland Ghetto, Bugembe, Jinja City, commended President Museveni for transforming the lives of the ghetto youth in Jinja City and Busoga at large.
Obuyambi obwe baatu wabampa emitwalo ameka 5 nganze publicity wa Jinja City ni bachali bange mitwala 5 gebampa naja nasubulamu obukoko bosaso buno bebaletera mu kisero natandika n'obukoko 30 natandika nengo kama 30 kwafa gwengonga 5 ku 10 aira tyapoa nasigalanga obusende bwenfuna obutono bwentunda mwene mitwala 2 nja nagulamu obukoko kati saadi ndi mungoko nga 12.
The Assistant Resident City Commissioner Jinja City, Michael Kasede, who was assigned with the responsibility to mobilize the ghettos in Jinja City, said the city has over 6,000 ghetto youth, and out of that number, 303 have benefited from the initiative so far. In Iganga District, the ghetto youth under their group, the Konkaraganga Pure Soap Company Limited in Kono 3, are making wonders with the Ghetto Circle funding. Under their company, Nasije Pure Soap Limited, the 30 ghetto youth produce 60 boxes of bar soap in a week.
Very interesting there what the ghetto youth are doing in Busoga. Now, members of the Parliamentary Committee on Information Communication Technology have expressed the need for Ministry of Finance to fund the budgets for Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, Uganda Communications Commission and NITA Uganda under the Ministry of ICT to effectively play their roles as Uganda hosts the African Cup of Nations 2027. Presenting the responses of the ministry to the committee, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zawede, said UBC's budget to promote the tournament to Ugandans and the whole world is 32 billion shillings. Take a watch.
Minister of ICT and National Guidance, led by the State Minister for ICT, Godfrey Kabyanga, and the Permanent Secretary, Amina Zawede, have appeared before the Committee on Information Communication Technology to respond to questions on their budget for financial year 2025-26 and budget priorities for 2026-27.
Budget, next year's budget, those two departments, National Guidance has only 1.4 billion allocated to it. And then information has only 2 billion allocated to it. And you know, now media center is under the information department.
Members of the committee asked about the 100 billion domestic arrears accrued by UBC as per the ministerial policy statement and the efforts put in place to clear them. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of ICT, Amina Zawede, said the corporation is working with the ministry and has also written to Minister of Finance to allocate funds to clear them.
Is in liaison with Minister of ICT and Finance to have funds allocated to the areas, to have funds allocated to pay off the areas if funding provision allows. In this line or regard, UBC has written to Minister of Finance through Minister of ICT.
Because now the UBC desperately is writing to the Minister of Finance through the Minister of ICT about the domestic areas, the 100 billion. I think this is for strategic direction as a ministry. We would do brief the ministry. The committee. What have you done? Because this is a lot of money.
Zawede told the committee that UBC's budget for AFCON 2027 is 32 billion shillings and the entity expects to collect 2 billion revenues from the tournament.
2027 AFCON budget that is broken down in the table here where we have satellite and transport equipment, signal broadcasting rights, production on TV, radio, promotion over 11 stations and promotion over 40 stations that amounts to 32.006 billion. On the previous experience from the last concluded CHAN games, UBC expects to generate 2 billion.
Members of the committee had mixed reactions on this, with some supporting funding this budget 100%, while the chairperson of the committee, Ayo Tony, advised UBC officials to revise the figure for the revenue.
When you support UBC's program under AFCON, you would be saving us from struggling to look for funds here when we can get that under AFCON and then that problem is solved. You are expecting 2 billion revenue, I think you go and you revisit this. Just don't cut and paste something and drop here. It's going to look ugly, because that's what you have done. That since the other year we did this, let's assume you don't work like that. Let's be very clear on what we are doing. Unlike
The committee also asked about the various pieces of land of UBC that were at the verge of being lost. UBC land in Mbale and Kawera in Soroti.
UBC has engaged NFA and relevant stakeholders to conduct a joint boundary opening survey to ensure that we clearly demarcate the boundaries of this land, of these plots.
Accordingly, the budget needed to conduct AFCON 2027 is between 700 and 800 billion shillings. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwetabenji at Parliament.
The NRM Secretariat has reaffirmed that the 12th Parliamentary Caucus Retreat, set to begin on Tuesday, the 7th of April 2026, will include independent members of Parliament as well as members of the opposition. Among those invited is a Democratic Party President and Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao.
In preparation to travel to Chankwanzi.
The National Resistance Movement Party will hold a 7-day retreat focused on ideology and party principles, among other key issues.
We are inviting members of the Central Executive Committee of the party, members of cabinet who have been elected back to Parliament, the members of Parliament who have been elected back to Parliament, the NRM senior leaders at the party head office here, and the independent members of Parliament.
The retreat will be officially opened and closed by party chairman, also President-elect Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
There will be topics on regional integration and geopolitics.
Activities will begin with an accreditation exercise on Monday, 6th April 2026 at Ghetto ceremonial grounds, ahead of the official opening ceremony the following day.
Don't pack many things, because most of the things are going to be given to you from Chankwanzi, especially the uniforms you're going to use for training.
A retreat for members of Parliament-elect will take place at National Leadership Institute, where President Museveni is expected to deliver the opening lecture.
Intention is aligning the NRM leaders towards protecting the gains and making a qualitative leap to the higher middle income status of our society.
Speaking to the media in Kampala this Thursday, party officials also outlined the summary of the lecture index.
There will be ideological training, ideological topics on ideology of the NRM. As you all know, there are many new MPs, and some are young. Many are young in terms of age, and therefore getting grounded in ideology is very, very key.
The retreat will further review the party manifesto and its ideological direction.
We believe that it's these members of Parliament that are tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that whatever goes in Parliament is intended to ensure implementation of our manifesto. So majority of all the topics will rotate around that.
NRM says the inclusion of opposition and independent legislators is aimed at fostering broader engagement on national issues.
We're even inviting members of opposition, because if they are willing to come and learn, we shall invite them to come to Chankwanzi. Because what is going to be discussed in the 12th Parliament is about the future of Uganda. And it is also best to be in opposition when you understand how the government is going to be governed. So it is important that the opposition also should think of attending.
Todong confirmed that Norbert Mao is among those officially invited to attend the retreat.
So he is part of the independent, we say independent in quotes because he belongs to a political party, that we are extending invitation to.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The government is set to tax public performers in the proposed tax regime. Entertainers through music, among others, will be required to pay 6% income tax. The Minister of State for Finance in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, presented the 8 tax bills to the Parliamentary Committee on Finance. The committee poked holes in the documents which showed more of anticipated tax revenue. However, Musasizi defended the projected revenue of 1,741 billion shillings in fiscal year 2025-2026 from the tax policy, and Uganda shillings 3,164 billion from Uganda Revenue Authority administration measures.
The Minister of State for Finance, in charge of general duties, Henry Musasizi, has presented 8 tax policy proposals to the Parliamentary Committee on Finance. In the income tax proposals, government, among others, seeks for monthly rental income compared to the current quarterly system. There is also a plan to introduce a 10% withholding tax on the commissions paid to data and voice bundle distribution agents. The entertainment sector recently celebrated the passage of the Copyright and Neighbouring Rights Bill 2025. However, the new tax proposals could set a tune for the dance.
This is for musicians. When the Baram is doing his evivuro, so on his income, we want to take 6% of it because he's earning income. When you are doing comedy, same. When you are doing comedy, when I was young, I used to go to Theatre Bonita. Yes, I would pay, but there would be no tax charge.
In the excise duty, 200 shillings per litre has been proposed as additional to petrol and diesel. Currently, petrol is charged 1,550 and diesel 1,230.
And the objective here is to raise revenue.
In the current financial year, the MPs disagreed with the proposal to increase tax on fuel.
When you look at the documentation from the Ministry of Finance, they acknowledge that prices have already started going up because of the war in the Middle East. But in their assumption, they state that this war is temporary, that in the coming financial things will be back to normal when they begin implementing this tax. But how certain are we that this war is going to end tomorrow? We saw the war in Russia and Ukraine. It has been there for years, yet we anticipated it to spend maybe weeks or days.
Government also aims to promote local producers of alcohol by increasing tax on some of the imported alcohol.
Here what we are talking about John Walker, Jack Daniels, Jameson, Singleton, you can Black Label, you can mention others and other beers.
Minister Musasizi is cognizant of the private sector growth after various voices are opposed to some of the new tax proposals.
And what does the private sector need? The private sector needs an enabling environment for them to prosper.
The proposed additional 500 shillings tax on each bag of cement has been looked at as a hurdle for the real estate industry.
Yet the sector should be supported because as a country we still have a crisis. We have a shortage in terms of housing units in the country. Many of the available units on the market now are not affordable to an average Ugandan. Many Ugandans are not able to construct. That's why they are still staying in Mizigos.
In the tax regime, government eyes to generate Uganda shillings 1,741 billion in financial year 2026-2027 and Uganda shillings 3,164 billion from URA administration measures. According to Minister Musasizi, this could contribute to the projected revenue effort of 15.5% of GDP. However, the Parliamentary Committee on Finance poked holes in the financial implications of the new tax bills, which has been deemed as anticipated figures. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Thanks, Daniel and Gwitabingi, for that story there. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has called on believers to live in reconciliation and harmony during this Easter season. In his Easter message, Archbishop Kazimba urged Ugandans to promote peace and unity across the country. He emphasized the need for citizens to actively advocate for peaceful coexistence, especially during this period of reflection.
and over the rising cases of drug abuse among the youth. He noted that the Church of Uganda is committed to addressing the growing challenge through community engagement and guidance programs.
Drug abuse among the youth in Uganda. The rising tide of substance abuse among our youth is deeply concerning, with studies indicating that over 70% of Ugandan adolescents have experienced drugs or alcohol, an alarming trend that threatens their health, education, and spiritual well-being. In response, Church of Uganda, through its drug prevention program, has taken deliberate steps to address this challenge.
In addition, he called upon churches to embrace environmental conservation through tree planting initiatives, highlighting the importance of protecting the environment for future generations.
Conservation of the environment. As part of our commitment to environmental stewardship, Church of Uganda launched a nationwide campaign to plant 15 million trees across the province. This initiative reflects on biblical responsibility as stewards of God's creation, as stated in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, where God commands humanity to care for and preserve the earth.
Archbishop Kazimba further commended Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for his continued support and commitment to national development.
I am sincerely grateful to the President of Uganda, through the Vice President, for the generous pledge of 2 billion Uganda shillings towards this project.
He concluded by offering prayers for the President and the country at large, calling for peace, unity, and prosperity for all Ugandans.
This Easter, as families and as a country, may we all remain anchored in Christ for unity, stability, and peace, knowing that through his resurrection, we are called to live in harmony with one another and to find lasting strength and assurance in him, and to ensure that we behave as Christians.
Christians have been urged to uphold good morals and behavior and remain faithful to God. The message was delivered by Paul Semogerere, the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, while presiding over the Mass of Consecration and the renewal of priests' vows and promises to the Bishop on Holy Thursday at Rwanda Cathedral during the Lenten season.
Rwanda Cathedral filled to capacity as Christians from the Kampala Archdiocese gathered to attend the Chrism Mass as a significant liturgical celebration held ahead of Holy Thursday. The Mass was led by Paul Semogerere, the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, who was accompanied by the Vicar Generals, priests and deacon candidates for the priesthood. During the service, the Archbishop blessed the important oils, namely oil of the sick, oil of catechmens, and the oil of sacred chrism.
Ave muggulu ake muzigo guno gwasiima guve mu muti omubisi gwongere endasi mu mubiri olw'omukisa gwo omutukuvu. Omuzigo wa Krisima gukozesebwa mu masakalamento asatu mwe tufunira obuvunaanyizibwa okuweereza Kristo n'okumujulira mu ngeri ey'enjawulo: batisimu, confirmatio ne ordine. Tukozesa ne mu kutukuza eklezia ne altari.
The bishop expressed regret over the unnecessary behavior of some individuals, urging them to follow a better example.
TikTok oyo yampeereza obubaka nti togende waagundi tujja kuyisaamu eggaali. Atengeze eggaali nagivuganga bulungi nnyo. Naye omwaka gwonna mwawulira nti eggaali baagimpisaamu naye ngiwulira. naye olw'okubeera nga twali wamu nga ekereziya n'obusaserdoti saawuliramu kakankana konna kubanga twali wamu.
All of priests present renewed the promises they made at ordination, reaffirming their commitment to serve Christ and the church.
Ku lunaku lwemwafunako obusaserdoti, Kristo mwamwesibako lwakwagala, mwalaganyisa ssanyu okwevaamu okwewa kereziya wa Kristo ne mukakasa okutuukiriza omulimu omutukuvu gwe yabawa. Mwagala okukwatira ddala Kristo n'okugenda mu mbeera gyakolangamu. Njagala misa eno ejjayo bulungi mu bujjuvu ekifaananyi ky'obusaserdoti bw'omusumba.
Archbishop Semogere conveyed Cardinal Emmanuel Wamala's message and that of Pope Leo XVI to the congregation.
Buli bw'omutuukako n'omugamba oli otya, agamba ndi mulamu. Omugamba nti obukuluma naga nti sirina kinnuma okuggyako obukadde. Era mbatuusaako okulamusa era n'omukisa ogw'enjawulo okuvaayo omutukuvu Paapa Leo gye nnali gye buvuddeko wamu ne baganda bange episikoopi okuva mu Uganda yonna mu kukyala kwaffe okwa ad limina apostolorum.
Meanwhile, Semogere prayed for 6 seminarians awaiting their ordination to priesthood.
Ayi Mukama, tuutuno tukuwanjagira abavubuka bano abeetegese okwewaayo okukuweereza n'eggwanga lyo lyonna nga bali mu muluka omutukuvu, bawe omukisa banywerere wano w'obayise.
The Chrism Mass highlights the unity between the bishops, priests and Christians, and leads the preparation for the Easter celebrations, especially the Easter Triduum. As noted by Reverend Father John Bosco Katabazi, the Kampala Archdiocese has maintained the tradition of celebrating it on Holy Thursday, as it can be celebrated on any other day.
And then the blessing of the other 2 oils, the oil for the sick and oil for the catechumens, which are used by the priest. Those oils are used by the priest. Then within that Mass, we renew our obedience promised to the bishop. So that's why it is by law, by canon law, that all priests, but at least if they can't, they should come from all different parts of the diocese to celebrate with the bishop that day.
Go for UBC.
Christians have been urged to embrace humility, love, and spiritual discipline as key values in their daily lives, with special emphasis on the significance of traditions such as the washing of feet. While delivering his sermon, Father Francis Walugembe explained that the act of washing feet symbolizes cleansing and the removal of sin, reminding believers of the importance of humility and serving one another with sincerity.
Christians across the globe marked Holy Thursday with the washing of feet in commemoration of what Jesus Christ did on this day. At Rwanda Cathedral, Father Walugembe, who led the Mass, emphasized the need for love among believers, calling on the congregation to care for one another and strengthen unity within the community. He stressed that true faith is the actions of kindness, humility, and mutual respect. He noted that such practices reflect honesty and should inspire people to treat each other with respect and compassion.
Nti ye kennyinnyini yeemaliramu ddala n'alyoka akkirira awali aboonoonyi n'alyoka abanunula n'alyoka abanaaza. So ekikolwa kino ekyokunaaza ebigere si kya kinyumo. Tera okulaba abantu nze gw'olaba wano bannaaza ebigere nze gw'olaba wano bakinyumirwa nnyo naye kitujjukize ki Yesu kyagenda otukolera olunaku lw'enkya nga yeemaliramu ddala.
He also urged Christians to actively participate in Holy Mass and to respect the sanctity of the service. The priest cautioned against the growing habit of using mobile phones during Mass, particularly watching videos on platforms like TikTok, saying it distracts from worship and shows a lack of reverence.
So bwe tuba nga tuzze emmisa tugiseemu ekitiibwa ate era tugyagala ennyo ate ntera n'okulaba wano nga tusembera abasista bano batera okutuyambako okusembeza n'ogenda n'olaba sisita ng'asembereza wali omuntu n'ava eri kubanga ayagala kusemberera wa faaza. My friend, faaza yezu gwasembeza ne sisita y'omu gwakola ki gwasembeza. Kitegeeza nti gwe bw'ojja n'osemberera ewa faaza ofunye yezu ne maama we nedda ofunye yezu yennyini nga bw'ali mu bulambalamba. Ono ne bw'otajja wa faaza sigalayo eri ewa sisita osemberera eri. Leka kusala ove wano ogende wali kubanga oyagala kusemberera wa faaza. Semberera awo sisita waali semberera awo.
In a strong condemnation of violence, Father Walugembe denounced a recent incident in which 4 juveniles were brutally killed at a school. He described the act as inhuman and called on society to uphold the value of life and protect the young generation.
Ekikulu kya byonna okussaamu omukama ekitiibwa. Nsemberedde ku lulimi naye olulimi lwange lulina okuba nga lutukuvu. Tinsemberedde mu ngalo naye engalo zange zirina okuba nga ntukuvu, zirina okuba nga nnyonjo. Nina okuba nga nange kennyini ndi mutukuvu. Awo nno omukama ono ali mu Ukalisitiya kyasinga okwagala ennyo.
News Tonight takes a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
When you don't use Momo, you are forced to quarrel.
Mama, kabalansi? Nkuwaire 15. Mama, nkuwaire 15.
Ompaire 15.
Abantu abakulu atandise obuyayi mwena.
Obuyayi obuliga.
Iwe.
Ngobiyanko bacho.
Sente dange nizade kolera ngobi nakolera sente dange.
Save yourself from quarreling. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
When you don't use Momo, you get insulted by strangers. Save yourself from insults. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3# to pay and enjoy zero charges below 5K. That's the power of Momo.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
Welcome back from that break. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Remittance inflows to Uganda in 2025 have surpassed $2.5 billion, according to the latest statistics from the central bank. The funds, largely sent by Ugandans abroad, continue to support household incomes and drive social economic growth. The figures were highlighted during the unveiling of a granular remittance data framework by the Bank of Uganda in partnership with the International Fund for Agricultural Development.
The new granular remittance data framework, alongside an interactive dashboard, has been developed under the Financing Facility for Remittances. The initiative is expected to improve Uganda's understanding and utilization of remittance flows, which are currently estimated at over $2 billion annually.
For the first time, Uganda now has access to more detailed and actionable remittance data, including transaction values and volumes, remittance corridors, transfer channels including digital versus cash, geographic distribution across the country, and selected demographic characteristics.
The central bank identifies remittances as one of the country's leading sources of foreign exchange, alongside exports such as coffee and earnings from tourism. Officials say better tracking of these inflows will support more informed planning and policy formulation.
We currently now just get the point very clearly. The amount of money we get from coffee for this financial year, 2.5 billion, and also we have been having remittances, 1.5 billion, which now Miri has helped us to capture another 1 billion. Now it is 2.5 billion, very big round of applause. I wish to underscore the importance of this work, not merely as an occasion to celebrate progress, but also to call for sustainable initiative to improve remittance statistics. And the already countries which we can benchmark are already given.
According to the Director of Statistics at the Central Bank, the improved system reduces data gaps and enhances accuracy by capturing even informal remittance flows that were previously unrecorded.
So while these developments mark up considerable progress, I must emphasize that reliability on our remittances statistics rests fundamentally on the quality of the data reported. Accurate recording of transactions, values, and biological details of senders and recipients is not a formality.
The bank notes that the bulk of remittances originates from countries including the United States, Saudi Arabia, the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, and Kenya.
Pleased to report that we have moved from the 1.5 to 2.5, almost doubling, a staggering 2.5. And on our side, for those who understand balance of payments, we've been having an errors and omission in our balance of payment.
Reliable data will also help stakeholders identify opportunities to reduce transaction costs, expand high digital financial services, and promote more inclusive financial systems that enable remittances to contribute even more effectively to national development.
Stakeholders say this new generation of remittance data will provide deeper insights to guide policy, strengthen interventions, and inform business strategy.
The 5th Annual Insurance Week 2026, organized by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, has ended with a call for Ugandans to embrace available insurance products for personal and institutional benefit.
The Insurance Week at the Lower Constitutional Square was characterized by the various product exhibitions, expert advice on life and motor insurance, free medical checkups and other insurance-related activities intended to increase public awareness about Uganda's insurance industry. Key among the exhibitions was the dog insurance, which was introduced on the market by statewide insurance company who urges that insurance cannot be limited to humans and their assets but diversifies in many of other areas within the environment and surroundings.
We do have partnerships with a number of associations. For example, we are working with the Canine Association of Uganda. This is an NGO which has dog owners from various walks of life, breeders, security companies, and so on and so forth, who come together to look at the welfare of the animals. What should they eat? How do you make sure they are looked after? What type of vet do you go to? And so on and so forth. So the insurance comes in to supplement all that, to make sure that anyone who has a dog is in a community whereby it is looked after all around, not just the insurance bit, but other aspects as well. So we're working with partners to make sure that their animals are not just insured, but the general welfare of the animals looked after.
Statewide Insurance Company is one of the oldest service providers in Uganda, which started way back in 1982, now counting 44 years of insurance industry participation.
I want to thank our regulator. Currently, the insurance industry has been having a tremendous growth in numbers of people that are taking insurance. And basically, this is because the insurance fraternity, through the regulator, has tried so much to sensitize the public about insurance. So looking at our figures and the figures that we underwrite under our growth return premium, we can basically see that there is an improvement, a lot of improvement has been seen in people partaking insurance, and basically this is seen in the premium that we underwrite at the end of the year.
The Insurance Week is a vital platform for bridging the gap between the industry and the public they serve, which is a strategic platform designed to increase community appreciation for the insurance industry players through direct engagement, education, and awareness initiatives.
Uganda National Innovative Graduates Wealth Association has named Bernard Fenny as the 2026 Innovative and Extraordinary Entrepreneur. Fenny, proprietor of Eurogold Refinery Uganda, is recognized for establishing the first fully Ugandan-owned gold refinery and supporting underprivileged communities in the West Nile region.
Since its inception in 2017, UNIGWA has championed the development and empowerment of graduates across Uganda. Through workshops, mentorship and sensitization initiatives, the association also runs an annual awards program to recognize individuals making outstanding contributions to employment creation, innovation and national development.
Over the years, we decided to come up with this initiative in order to solve the problem of skilling the youths, because we know that there are so many graduates out there, but they're looking for jobs. It's not all about looking for jobs, but how can you create jobs?
Chiwanuka notes that in a country grappling with high unemployment and economic challenges, celebrating self-made entrepreneurs serves as a source of inspiration, especially for young people starting from humble beginnings.
Some of the youths in Uganda, or people that start businesses, they don't have people that they look up to, you know? So it's all about first look at someone and see, if this person is doing this, what can I learn out of them? What can they help me in the future so that I can also be someone else, you know? So it's all about yearning, having that passion of what you do, looking at people that are near you.
This year's ceremony marks yet another milestone as an exceptional entrepreneur is honored for his impact and innovation. Bernard Fenny, the Chief Executive Officer of Eurogold Refinery Uganda, emerges as UNIGWA's best innovative and extraordinary entrepreneur for 2026.
So this award means a lot to me, and it's also an encouragement to me. Now I think I'm in the right course. That's the right word. Yeah, I'm in the right course, and I think this is just a beginning. Yeah, until I see millions of lives of the youth being changed, I will not give up.
Speaking to UBC, Fenny emphasized the importance of passion, ambition, resilience and seeking guidance in the pursuit of success.
It does not require much to qualify to become a mineral trader in Uganda. And the requirement is minimal. to attain a minor dealer's license, I think by law it's around 10 million Ugandan shillings. For a whole year, you're already legal operating. Now, that one takes me to an advice to youth is that never do any illegal trade. Follow the right procedure, seek right guidance, go to the right people. Yes, when you go to the right people, you will never go wrong. And you need right mentors anyway, of course.
Through his pioneering business initiatives, Feni has created jobs, empowered communities, and set a strong example of innovation and resilience. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
Uganda Health Professions Assessment Board notifies the public that the registration of health TVET candidates for June 2026 assessment commenced on the 11th of March 2026. Deadline for registration is 10th April 2026. As guided by the TVET law, the list of registered candidates for the June 2026 assessment series shall be displayed for viewing 30 days before the date for commencement of the national assessment. Lists of registered candidates shall be displayed for viewing 1 month before the national assessment.
Sports news now, and we're going to look at football. Government, through the Ministry of Education and Sports, has kicked off the formalization process to receive land from Toro Kingdom for the construction of a stadium in Toro. Minister of State for Sports, Peter Ogwang, confirmed that the kingdom willingly offered land for the stadium construction following a presidential pledge to King Oyo of Toro by President Yoweri Museveni during his campaign visit in the kingdom.
The resolution to construct a stadium was made during the launch of the Toro Clans football competition held at Mutual Grounds in Fort Portal City. Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, together with Minister for Local Government, Victoria Rushoke, Toro Kingdom officials and the chairperson National Council of Sports, Ambrose Tashobe, visited the proposed land location, yet to be pronounced to the public.
The Minister of Education and Sports, who is my boss, the First Lady, directed me to come and confirm and begin the government process on how government can formally receive this land, begin to plan for the construction of the stadium.
According to Minister Ogwang, after all the processes, government will first put the stadium in the national budget for approval before the commencement of the construction.
I don't want to live here today and you begin asking me, the stadium is coming tomorrow. But what I want to confirm to you, that the planning of this stadium with now the availability of land is meant to begin, we are meant to begin with the process, then we begin to put it in the national budget. Before, we used to hang around, but today, the investment of government in sports infrastructure development is no longer a hearsay, but factual.
Honorable Victoria Rushoke, State Minister for Local Government, said it is the role of local governments to provide land with a land title for government to start bigger projects in the district.
Government gives projects, but it is with the districts to provide land. If the district doesn't persuade people to offer land, or individuals here to offer land, ntujja kwikara ntusunga ebintu mbiturabaho nibigenda handi kandi tusugara nturwana yitu hano. Land, projects. No land, no projects.
Toro Kingdom Premier Armstrong Romire commends government for considering Toro Kingdom with a request to include a sports academy in the stadium for talent development.
And our vision is to ensure that this is not only a sports complex, but a youth sports academy. So I'm requesting the National Council of Sports Chairman to deliver that message, such that March, as you are planning for a stadium for us, which we thank the President for dearly, we are saying our youth are many, and there's various sports that we can learn and compete in favorably. So we ask that we get a sports academy as well as a stadium.
Ambrose Tashovia pledged to work with the technical team to ensure the presidential pledge is fulfilled for the benefit of the people of Toro and the country in general.
So we have to look at the technical aspects, the locations, which one has the better location, which one offers the better opportunity for facilities that can help your youth, which is more technically viable. Then we'll give a genuine report and say this one would be the best.
30 clans have so far registered to participate in the inter-clan.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But do remember that our second and final bulletin will come your way at 10 p.m.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.